Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with Tim. I thought we'd do something a little different today. I've been sick to death of sitting in my office doing these things, so I thought, let's sit outside. Now, it may be noisy, I'm not sure. We'll give it a test run and see how it goes today. I can hear the train off in the distance, I can hear the birds, but what can you say? It's Winnipeg. It is March the 20th today? 19th, 20th? It is above zero, and it is a beautiful sunny day, so sitting inside just seems a little ridiculous. But I hope you're doing well today. Grab your coffee. I've got mine. It's just cool enough that it's absolutely necessary. And sitting here looking into the sun, well, here we are. So make sure you say hi if you're tuning in. Hit like. If you're on YouTube, make sure that you hit subscribe. And yeah, I may not be able to respond to any posts that you put in today because I can't see very well. I'm actually looking directly into the sun, so this was kind of a last minute throw together this morning, so we'll see how it goes. But I hope you're doing well. I have to admit that today was one of those almost didn't happen days again. They seem to happen every now and again. That it's just been a challenging couple of weeks and continues to be. If you tuned in last week, maybe the week before, we were talking about me doing some med changes and just how that's been going. It has gone not bad. I of course didn't tell you what the med was that I changed to last time. I'm just going to sneak up here and see if I can read this, and I cannot because I don't have my glasses on. But I made the med change, and it has gone reasonably well. I mean, nothing ever seems to go the way you really want it to with Parkinson's. I have managed to feel a little bit better, and that the fogginess has subsided to some degree. Cheryl reports that I seem perkier, a little more cheerful, not quite so distant as we can be when we're not feeling great, and so that's a positive, but I still don't feel 100%, or at least 80% or whatever I normally feel with Parkinson's. So I'm wondering, we're going to give it 6 weeks or so on this increased med and just see how things go. So I'd be curious to hear your stories. I mean, people have been offering me wonderful advice and input on agonists, and those of you who offered for me to reach out to you, to call you, or to text you or whatever, I haven't done that yet, simply because I'm not overly thrilled to have a conversation about agonists yet. So don't take it personally. It's just where I'm sort of at with that. And yeah, life kind of carries on apace. I was thinking about what I was going to share with you this morning, and it really came back to my book Perseverance. That there are days, there are weeks, there are months sometimes where it seems like that all you do is you put one foot in front of the other. And that's kind of where these last few weeks have been, whether it's COVID or Parkinson's or just life, I don't know. You know, the wife and I were talking that with kids, we love our kids, and our kids are doing fabulous in life. But it's amazing how no matter how old they get, whether they're 5 weeks, 5 months, 15, 25, or over 30, there's always something that as parents we're concerned about. And so there's always things that are just on your mind there. There's work. You know the list of things that go on and on that deal with everyone's life. So it's just been a bit of that time in life where we're persevering. We're carrying on in a course of action, even in the face of difficulty, with little or no evidence of success. And all of these things have evidence of success in them. U-turn Parkinson's is going fabulous. My kids are doing great. Everything that I touch is doing well. I've been asked to speak this fall already. You know, Lord willing, COVID relents and the vaccines all take their place. People are calling me to come speak at their events, which is just super huge. So I look at my life and I think, you got nothing in the world to be anything other than joyful and happy about, and yet you walk through life day after day feeling like crap. Don't know what to tell you, folks. I'm human with Parkinson's. So at the end of the day, it's just perseverance. Today it's just about plain old rock bottom perseverance. Putting one foot in front of the other, doing the best that we can, knowing that life will get better, that things will be just fine. That the sun came up today, there's coffee in hand, there's our friends around the world, and what more could we really ask for? On top of that, there's some fantastic reading that I've been doing, and I want to share with you a couple of things that's been on the nightstand. I just finished this particular book. Now, I share this book with you not to raise controversy, but to encourage you in reading things, pursuing things that you may not agree with. You'll understand more fully maybe after I share with you the memoir. And you'll recall that in the past I've talked about what I like to read. I love politics, I love issues of faith, I like memoirs. So, my latest memoir that I've read is President Obama's, A Promised Land. Great read. If you are a reader, excellent read. He is well spoken, well written. He does a great job of presenting his views and his ideas. And I'm not going to tell you this morning that I agree with everything that the man has ever done. I don't. I'm not going to tell you that I agree with everything that he's ever stood for. I don't. I'm not going to tell you that I agree with all of his politics. I don't. But I do see a person of integrity. Oh, now there's a statement for you, right? What do I mean by that? A person of integrity. Well, integrity means that you live out what you say you believe. And in this regard, again, the preface, I don't agree with everything he believes. I don't agree with everything that he's done. But what he said he would do and what he did has been awfully consistent. I see a man who's had one wife, who has been, from all intents, faithful to that wife. If he hasn't been, he's done a great job of hiding it from us. And I say this with the caveat of knowing that we've been disappointed so many times, and who knows what life will ever bring. But a guy with one wife who seems to have a great relationship with her, a great relationship with his kids, I'm impressed with that. And I'm impressed with the book. It tells a good story. Again, it's politics. You take it with a certain grain of salt. But my point in sharing that particular book with you this morning is to say, read something that you think you might disagree with. Have the courage to get outside your norm. It's very easy for me to read only the things that I know that I'm going to like. It's very easy for me to read the things that I know that I think I'm going to agree with, and not step outside my comfort zone. Now, if our most current past president writes a memoir, writes a book about his time in office, you can be pretty well guaranteed that I'll buy it. I'll admit that that's a bit more of a stretch for me, but I want to challenge myself. I want to know the full spectrum of life. I want to take what I believe, challenge it, hold it up to the flame, and see if it withstands argument. So that's why I shared that with you this morning. That's that book. And I was also just going to say that, there are many things that I've made up my mind on in life. 56 years old, I've been around the block a couple times now. There are things about faith and politics and various things that I'll probably go to my grave believing and holding because I've made up my mind on them. But that doesn't mean that I can't still read things, involve myself in things that will challenge my thinking. Because if my faith is true, if what I believe is true, it will stand the test of time. It will stand the challenge. So just because we put ourselves out there doesn't mean that we're being unfaithful to ourselves in any way. It means that we're having an open mind and trying to experience life in its full. Now, there's another book that I'm reading that will be a little bit more to our everyday. Michael J. Fox's most recent book, No Time Like the Future. An optimist considers mortality. I have to admit, when I first picked it up, it took a little bit to get into. You remember that I'm a fussy reader, right? It took me a little bit to get into. When I found ourselves in India with Michael, going through his experiences in India, I'm like, what are we talking about? Why am I in India with Michael? But I've come to enjoy it. I'm about halfway through, and I'm finding that he, at 20 years with Parkinson's, seems to be sort of in a place, or at least I'm resonating with where he's at my 10-year mark with Parkinson's. A little bit of angst, a little bit of unsettledness. So I'm curious to see where he goes with it. So I would encourage it. It's expensive. I appreciate that I'm adding to his retirement fund like he needs it, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. Well, last week we talked about, and that of course is an easy read. That's right up my alley. It tells me all kinds of things about Parkinson's and views on Parkinson's that maybe I hadn't thought about quite the same way as other times. But that's an easy read, so I would encourage that book as well. And then I'll also just remind you about Gone, Linda K. Olson's book. She will be on with me on the 26th, and we'll be interviewing her. She is the triple amputee that literally got hit by a train back in 1979 and has now, at the age of 65 or so, developed Parkinson's disease. So a triple amputee, lost her right arm rather, and both legs above the knee, and now has Parkinson's disease. So we're going to talk to her in a few weeks. So we'll make sure and tune in for that. I'll for sure be here on the 26th. But I also wanted to leave you with this encouragement. The last couple of weeks we've talked about our schedules for exercise, talked about how exercise is important to Parkinson's and that we have to be doing this, whether we like it or not, whether we consider ourselves athletes or not. We've got to be involved in exercise. So I wanted to encourage you on do you have a plan? Do you have a routine in place that you're managing every day? Now you say, Tim, it's easy for you to say you've done this for years. Oh, Tim, this is what you'd like to do. This is easy for you. Oh, Tim, this. Oh, Tim, that. Oh, Tim, you have a different body style than mine. It's all bullshit, people. Just stop already, okay? We can all make excuses till the cows come home. But the simple fact is, my routine is what I've set it to be. I enjoy it. This morning I got up. I was supposed to do my yoga. I got up, the dog had me awake at 4:30. Yes, dear Bella, God bless her heart. Had me awake at 4:30 this morning. Finally went back to sleep. We both slept into the ripe old hour of 6:30. I got out of bed, got up, took her out, did our thing. Got a couple of emails that grabbed my attention, a couple things going on. And here we are at sometime after 10, and I've still not done my stretching. So I've got a board meeting at 11. I've got another meeting at 1. My schedule is to go for a run this afternoon. So will I get my stretching in today? Probably not. Probably not, is the truth. I could sit here and tell you all kinds of things like, I'll work it in. I'll make sure it happens. I'll do this. I'll do that. Truth is, probably not going to happen. I'll try to make room for it, but I know me. Chances are it's not going to happen. But what I do know, most importantly, is that if I don't have a schedule, if I don't have a plan, it doesn't happen. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, my plan is to get up and do my power stretch, my stretching and a bit of yoga. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday afternoon to go for either a bike ride or a run. Tuesdays and Thursdays are my HIIT class, my Rock Steady Boxing at the gym, and Saturdays is my group ride with my buddies who've been riding through the winter. So there you have it. That's what I try to do every week. Do I hit it all? No, I don't hit it all. I don't make it happen every single day exactly the way I'd want to. But that's the goal, that's the plan. And without a plan, I would not be doing any of it, like I wasn't for the last number of months. Well, I was doing some of it, but not nearly what I should have been doing. Speaking of my dear beloved dog, I think you probably just saw her. You might be able to see her laying in the window right there. Love her to death, except at 4:30 in the morning. Well, look, for a guy who didn't feel like nattering this morning, I've done not a bad job, hey? So I'm going to leave you with that. Encourage you to pick up something to read this week that you think you might disagree with. Pick it up and approach it with an open mind. Do something new for yourself. Break out a bit. Get outside. Enjoy the weather. Things are starting to change. If COVID has lifted where you're at and you've got more freedom, get outside, go do some things. Pick up that book by Michael J. Fox. It's a really good read. I'm enjoying it. And do some exercise, whatever that looks like for you. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Do what's good for you. But make sure you get something in this week. I'd encourage you to sit down, put together a schedule, whatever that looks like, and see if you can't stick to it. Then be watching on my social media and whatnot on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'll be speaking in a few places coming up online that you'll be able to join into. They're open to the public. Like I said, a few things coming up this summer and fall that I'm very thankful for. And if you are a part of a group that is starting to look at keynotes for this fall and next summer, please give me a call. You know where to find me, timsenior.ca. And I have to throw in a pitch for, if you're here in Winnipeg, our walk, our Parade for Parkinson's. Yeah, parking moment. Our Parade for Parkinson's, our fundraiser that we're doing. Go to uturnpd.org and check that out. I'd love to have you involved in some way, make a donation or get involved walking with us. And yeah, so until next week, guys, persevere, stay on your journey, hug those you love, and remember, live your best. The sun comes up today, we're on the right side of the grass. Things could be worse. So until next week, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.